Today we're taking a look at some knives that would make a great option for your next EDC pickup. And while we're diving in, make sure you let us know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. I have quite the list for you guys today, and I will have all these knives linked down below in the description, and I'll try to keep them in order so they're nice and easy to find. We're going to kick the video off with the Kaiser Crocodile. This knife is coming in under 60 bucks. Comes in nitro V steel. You have a beautiful PVD coating on that drop point blade, and it does come in several different variations. You have micartas and G10s. I like the size of this knife and the ergonomics of this knife. It's very comfortable and it has some amazing flipper action, nice controlled closing action, and the detent for a flipper is pretty stout, I would say. It's not a bad thing at all. It gives a very satisfying flipper action. And then we do have a deep carry reversible steel pocket clip there. I just think this is a fantastic deal for the materials and the price point. Next up, we're taking a look at the Ramet Rhino, and this knife has underwent some changes since this model was put out, and they've made it even better. It's going to be coming in 14C 28N steel. They have a couple different versions of this one as well. You have a coated version, and this one's coming in black micarta. You do have dual thumb studs and a cutout on both sides that you can use for deployment, along with a front flipper that probably, if very practiced, would be easy, but I wouldn't say for a beginner that this would be one to learn on, but it does work well if you know how to run a front flipper. And this is using a button actuated liner lock there, similar to the compression lock, and they have just went in there and made that even better in regards to the lockup for the knife. And we have a deep carry right hand only pocket clip with a micarta backspacer, but this knife comes in right around $50, and for the materials and a good lockup with the button compression lock, that's a pretty good price. Next up, we have the Artisan Cutlery, or CJRB Bowie Pyrite here. CJRB Bowie Pyrite, I should say. And I love this Bowie blade. You have that nice low tip. Now, doesn't have to be one or the other. They make this in RPM 9, and they're also now doing it in their SF2 steel, which is another new proprietary steel for CJRB and Artisan. It's going to be similar performance to S35VN, VG10 in that general area. Now, this is the SF2 model here with the micarta, but they offer this in a bunch of configurations and different steels. But I'd say if you're someone who loves a Bowie blade shape, this is a fantastic knife that will still give you the utility that you want in your everyday knife. You have a nice sharpening choil there. I like the fuller and the thumb studs for deployment, and you can always use the button, of course. Really nice micarta in this case. And then we have a deep carry recessed pocket clip. And the cherry on top with this knife here is they're going to be coming in under $100. Next up, we're taking a look at the Civivi Hyper Pulse, and this is a knife from Civivi that it changed my mind about Civivi. It's one of the knives, I should say. They really have done a great job with their button locks and improving them in order to compete with what is out there on the market currently. Button locks have gotten increasingly better from all major companies for the most part, and Civivi is up there with them. I wasn't giving them the credit that they should have had beforehand. We're looking at 14C 28N blade steel, nice satin finish on that drop point blade, decent sharpening choil there, and then we do have dual thumb studs and a rear flipper for deployment. Nice action, I'm telling you. Very, very good for a standard button plunge lock. I look for a lot of companies, though, to eventually move to that button compression lock or a pivot-based button lock Plunge locks won't go away for, for good or completely, but I think we will see companies start to transition because the plunge locks, a lot of people love them, but there's many more people who will prefer and want something else and not pick up that plunge lock knife. And I think that's the case with some of these plunge locks that are coming out. They are popular, but there are many more people who would prefer that button compression or pivot-based button lock. We do have nice aluminum handles here that do have a very nice finish. Cutouts for weight relief and some aesthetics. We do have a deep carry clip there that is reversible, which is really nice. Simple clip, and that doesn't affect it in and out of the pocket. We have tried and checked that. Nice size as well on this knife. Just a great EDC knife coming in under $70. We have a new one from Kaiser that just came out in January of 2025, and that is the very popular Mystic. And in this case, the Mini Mystic has been released. I look for Kaiser to do some premium versions of this as well. But in the case right now, we are just looking at more affordable options. They have a couple different steels. This one is going to be in Nitro V. You have that drop point blade, kind of harpoony kind of looking drop point blade. Really cool. You have a flat running into this real high top swedge. Nice sharpening choil there, and you do have dual thumb studs for the deployment. They did knock off the front flipper for this design here, so that is not going to be a part of the Mini Mystic. We do have aluminum anodized bolsters and micarta for an onlay, micarta backspacer with an integrated lanyard post here, and then we do have a deep carry clip that is reversible. And then this is sporting Kaiser's clutch lock, which is the top lock, I would say, when it comes to crossbar locks. It is very well refined, and you have the ability to adjust it to a lesser or stronger tension in there, which is a fantastic thing. And also, these knives come in right around $60, depending on which version you're going with. Next up, we have the Tenable, and this is the Nesh Street. Tenable is Concept's sister company, who is now making all their affordable knives. So you're going to be getting Concept's build quality. It's just going to be under a different name. And I have to say, even though these are more affordable, the quality and the materials is still top notch. Very, very nice looking blade from Tenable. We're looking at 14C 28N steel. We have that nice low drop point or modified sheep split worn clip blade, whatever you want to call it. You can let me know what you think. We do have dual thumb studs here for deployment, and this is a more robust button plunge lock. It's still a button plunge lock, but it is a more robust knife, just a little bit thicker, a little bit larger. Sharpening choil could be better, but it's not too bad. The springs in there for the plunge lock are really nice and strong. And then you have the ball bearings in there, which will have this buttery smooth on the close. Micarta for our handle material, and this is some nice looking stuff. We have steel liners in there with a couple of standoffs, and then a deep carry clip, and it is right hand only in this case. I believe they will make changes to this knife eventually to make it left hand friendly if they haven't already done that. Something to keep an eye out if you are lefty or want to carry this lefty, but otherwise this is a great knife, and these come in at a great price. Now this one, if you want something a little bit more out there, you want something off the beaten path, this is the Lothar Revealer. It is a flipper only, and this is a button plunge lock, but it's going to be coming in 14C 28N steel. You have that nice long drop point blade kind of a stiletto looking flipper almost, kind of a modified version of a stiletto in my opinion. Obviously you don't have that other guard, but that's what it looks like it was trying to become. We do have FRN handles here with texturing, and then this is a laminated piece of carbon fiber here that's inserted. They do have texturing on the outside, and then we have an aluminum backspacer and then a deep carry clip that is recessed, and it's a nice clip as well. Nice minimal clip. The coating looks good. It's a good size. Very well done, and it is going to be reversible for lefties as far as the spring strength goes. For like the push button and light switch, it works good. No complaints from me at all. The push button is pretty satisfying on this, and you can use the button as well. Ball bearings in there, so it is going to drop closed nice and freely. I look for Lothar to have a big year in 2025. Now, if you're someone who's looking for a full-size knife, you want a beastly knife, I would take a look at the AM8 knives. Gladiator here. This thing is an absolute beast. And before we dive into the Gladiator here, if you're here and you enjoy this type of content, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because I release daily videos just like this, and I'd love to have you here. So the steel on this Gladiator here is going to be 14C28N. You see a common theme with a couple of steels here, and that's pretty much because they are the best steels in the price point that I'm aiming at between 14C, Nitro V, and RPM 9. Those are kind of the top steels in this area and price point, along with SF2 and S35 and VG10. Those steels are also intertwined into this group. But 14C is a great stainless steel in my opinion. It is very tough. It is very corrosion resistant. And you mix that with a nice broad blade like the Gladiator has here, this is going to be a great all-around user for you. Nice satin finish on the blade, and you have a hand satin on the flat here. Nice little top swedge going to the tip. Large choil area. You do have a rear flipper and dual thumb studs for deployment. The action is fantastic on this knife. Detent is perfect. Flipper tab does not feel neglected on this knife. Very well done. Black micarta handles. This is a deep carry right hand only pocket clip that is recessed there into the scales. Great access to that liner as well. Like I said, you're looking for a full-size knife that's not going to break the bank. The AM8 Gladiator is definitely a good option. Next up, we got the Fintizo Parrot, and I have to say, this is probably my favorite Fintizo so far, at least one of them. And this is probably, I don't know if this is their newest now, but it's one of their newer ones, and it's just a reflection of where they were and how far they have come in just a year or a year and a couple months. Nice and centered right out of the box. Nice strong springs in there with that button plunge lock. We are looking at a sheepsplit blade with a satin finish, 14C28N steel. We do have dual thumb studs for the deployment. Sharpening choil could be better, and that's something a lot of companies struggle with, and I think they will eventually get right. We do have aluminum handles with steel liners and a bunch of milling in there for weight relief. Ball bearings around the pivot, which means nice and buttery smooth closing action. And then we have a deep carry recessed pocket clip that is going to be left-hand friendly. That is why I said reversible as well. Good size, good looking knife. Almost looks like it was going to be a sway back, and then it kind of stopped, which is perfect. I think this is a clean looking knife. Nice gentleman's knife, and I think it would make a great EDC, especially at the price point. Next up, a knife that does not get enough love anymore. It's been out a while, but this knife certainly deserves all the love and shine that you could put on it. The Concept Main Street here. And it should have got some more play last year because it came out in a crossbar lock, which makes it even cooler. Because then you got liner locks, you got crossbar locks. The Main Street is a perfect platform for an EDC knife. They come in 154 cm. I think they started doing them in other steels as well. You have that nice long sheep split blade. You have dual thumb studs for deployment. Depending on which model you'll get, you get either a liner lock or that crossbar lock. I would go with either one, whichever one tickles your fancy. Just remember, the liner lock will have a detent. The crossbar lock will be based on the springs in the crossbar lock, so that is something to keep in mind. Textured G10, and we have a nice milled clip here that is going to be right-hand carry only. I'm not sure if the crossbar lock changes that. It is something to definitely check out. I haven't handled one just yet. I do plan to get one here at some point, but I have beaten the hell out of this knife, and it just keeps coming back for more. Good old Derek Pinkerton design mixed with concepts, build quality. This is a very solid knife that definitely needs to get more press. Next up, we got the Off-Grid Knives Stinger EDC, and this is the drop point variant. They also make it in a spear point. Either which way, I think they are both fantastic. You can kind of pick your poison. We have a beautiful gray washed 154 cm drop point blade. Love this blade shape. Nice sharpening choil here. Flipper tab for deployment. Nice strong detent in there. Ball bearings around the pivot. Buttery closing action. Great access to that liner, and you do have a chamfer on there. Easy to get to, easy to disengage. Jimping up the spine. Just a nice mid-size knife. We have sculpted G10 handles with texturing, and then a nice deep carry clip that's reversible. Good size, good tension, good looking clip. Perfect pocket clip in my opinion, and they do make it so lefties can carry it. Off-Grid does a great job in and out of the knife community. Next up, we got the Miguron Mallory. This is a knife that didn't get a whole lot of attention in 2024 for whatever reason. I think it came out in a month where it was pretty hectic, but Miguron quietly puts out some fantastic knives, and this is one of them right here. We have this nice large profile 14C28N steel coated blade on this one. They have several different variations you can choose from. Love the blade shape. You have a nice large choil here, and then you have a fuller and plenty of blade here and a rear flipper tab to deploy this thing out. Works good no matter which way you want to go with. Good detent in there. We have micarta for an overlay on top of these steel liners, G10 backspacer, and then we have a milled titanium clip that is going to be right hand only. We do have plenty of access to our liner there with a nice long chamfer. That is exactly how it's done. Ball bearings in the pivot and a nice detent. We got a great blade shape. These are like $50 or so. Fantastic EDC knife. And I want to give one quick shout to the CountyCom Vosteed collaboration Corgi here. They only made 500 of these. I think they will go fairly quickly. A lot of people love the Altum handles. They are the lighter, more see-through Altum, and they do have a micro texture to them. We have a titanium collar and filler tab. Steel hardware though, and a lower mounted deep carry steel rollover clip. Is going to be reversible though, and we have an Altum backspacer. Steel liners with a ton of internal milling. Good action on that Trek lock. You have so much leverage on these flippers here that it's an insane amount of pressure you can get on those flippers and throw that blade out. Nice tight tolerances, great profile, real minimalist type profile, and a great blade shape. They only did 500. That's the only place you can get the Altum with the sheep split blade in 14C. You have a nice stone wash finish on that blade. Great little EDC knife that has been extremely popular all over the world, especially in 2024. Let me know what your favorite knife was from today's video. I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video to more people. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you click the G-Ball Vision logo in the center of your screen. I'd love to have you here. I'll put up a couple of videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.